You're just going about your life, enjoying the sun, creating all the artistic things that you ever wanted, being the main character, playing instruments with your friends. And then it hits you! The dreadful question. Hello, I am Berka, and this is the first ever long form video that I'm recording myself doing. And I am definitely very nervous because I've always wanted to make YouTube videos and do all the nice things that YouTubers usually do and share their thoughts. But I'll just say that I'm making this video for myself so that in case there are no views, I can always be like,
Oh, it was anyway for myself. So it's fine if there are no views.
but then in case there are views, I can always be like, yeah, I'm better than everyone because I got views. But but then in case you have stumbled upon this video and you are interested in the topics that I'm going to talk about, and if you have any thoughts, any ideas, or any sort of questions, please feel free to share them in the comment section or just hang about and enjoy. In the 25 years that I've lived, I have had so many questions about the life that we have, about death and birth and how the world runs. And I remember 2 years ago, I was consumed by these strong questions about the meaning of life because every time I wanted to dedicate myself into a craft, I would stop myself and go like, what's the meaning behind it? Why am I doing this? What is it going to lead to? Unfortunately, a lot of times I did stop myself from doing things because I wasn't sure where it was going to lead to. I'm smiling because it's the same with this video because I have wanted to make YouTube videos, but I already cringed at the idea so much and was worried of being judged. By the way, whenever I see other people on YouTube talking about different things, I am so fascinated by them and I appreciate them so much. But then when I think of myself doing it, it's so easy for me to just go like,
You cringe.
but whenever I look at other people, I wouldn't be that. So if I have learned anything in 25 years, we are always harsher on ourselves than we are on other people. And there are times when we would appreciate other people for doing something, but when we think of ourselves doing it, we tend to get a little negative. So that's one pattern that I'm trying to break. So just thought of letting that out right now. But hey, why not? Why not? Life is short. Let's just have fun. Let me just share my ideas because, yeah, why not? Why not? I have heard the saying that goes like, okay, I'm paraphrasing, so it might not be the accurate phrase, but it goes like, yes, the story has been told before, but it has never been told by you. Yes, this has been done before, but it has never been done by you. And I think that is such a beautiful thing because no matter what we do, there's always a part of us that comes forward in everything that we do in our lives. And it is so interesting to find out who you really are, what you really like, what are your own quirks, and all the amazing things. And as we're experiencing life and finding ourselves out and finding the world out and trying to understand our own human existence, we come up with so many questions with no answers. But I think that is beautiful in its own way that we have so many questions, but we do not have the answers to, so that we can have discussions and talk more about these things. So, without further ado, let me start with all the questions that I have. Not all of them, I have a couple of questions in mind. So, I'll just state them out. First question is, how did people discover musical notes? It is so fascinating to me because it is so interesting. Music in itself is such an interesting thing that I don't think we have really dwelled into to understand how did people really come up with the musical notes? How did they know that these are the exact notations that's used in every musical piece in this world? How? Okay, I remember there was one of my music teachers who said that it was developed by listening to nature and the sounds in nature, be it birds or a waterfall, river, and any sound that the nature created. And because of that, there was the discovery of music, and it went on to becoming a language of its own. And different places have different ways of writing down music as well, like from something that was heard and then created and then written down. It just blows my mind. It just really blows my mind that how did people know how that the fact that human beings came up with the system and created amazing music that sounds different from each other. It's amazing. It's just beautiful. Next question is, what is the difference between appropriation and appreciation? When something is cultural exchange, and when is it when another culture starts exploiting the culture of another group of people? Why are there so many similarities between the myths around the world? For example, in a lot of myths and epics written around the world, there is a mention of the great flood that happened. And it's so interesting that a lot of myths talk about the same stories, and you just wonder how did we all come up with the same story? Do we have like a collective brain that we are not sure of? Do we all, like, there are other times as well when some part of the world there is one person who invents something, and around the same time there is another person in a different part of the world who have no contact with each other come up with another invention which is just the same, and you're just surprised about how these different things were invented around the same time without having any conversation. Read the book Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert, and she mentioned that thoughts are thoughts can be this external entity that comes and knocks on your door and wants it to be put into the world through you, and it keeps on knocking until you listen to it. But if you don't listen to it, it goes to another person who might act on that thought or idea. Again, I'm paraphrasing, but it's interesting. It's really interesting if that is something that thoughts are external things and they come to us. So do we can we take the full credit for the work that we have done, or it's an external thing? I think it was the Greeks who came up with this idea first, like ancient Greek. I'm not sure. How were different spices discovered, and how did different cuisines come into place? I'm really glad that it happened. I'm just very curious to know where and how these things happened, and how were kingdoms formed, and who was the first ever king, who was the first ever ruler, and who decided who is going to be that person. What is the possibility of all of us existing at the same time in history at this moment? Like, what was the possibility? Why? How are the people who are alive at this moment? And who decides that? And what happens? It's getting a little existential, but why not? Like, honestly, why not? Another thing that I'm really fascinated by is how we have come up with so many languages, and we speak so many languages that are so different from one another. And based on the languages that we speak, even the way that we think are shaped by the languages that we speak. One thing that really fascinates me is the question about how you think of time. Some people would think of it exactly as a clock thing, or I have heard people say that they imagine one time to start here and then it goes down or it goes up, or times in like columns. For me, it's columns. For example, if I'm thinking about, okay, hear me. Okay, I'll try to explain how it is for me. Um, so when I think about decades, I go from top to bottom. So 2000 to 2010, 2011 to 2019, 2020 to 2030, and it goes towards the right, top to bottom, and goes towards the right. The further in the future that I go, it goes towards the right. The further back I go, it goes towards the left. And even the colors in my head changes. So the backwards that I go, it gets darker. It's like it's dipped in coffee basically. And the more it goes towards the future, it feels like it's lighter in shade. And also different scripts are written different way, different languages. Like for example, English is written from left to right. Then Urdu Arabic is written from right to left. It's just really fascinating. The whole thing. It's so fascinating. How did we come up? And despite all the languages in the world, we still find it difficult to express some of the things that we are feeling. We are still struggling to communicate some things, or we might feel something and we still fall short of words. Interesting. Very, very, very interesting.
And on that note,
Thank you. And I'll probably make more videos with all the questions that I have. Or not. We'll find out. We'll see. I don't know. Sometimes I just have these bursts of inspiration. And today I'm very inspired, so I have made this video. Tomorrow I might not be. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Thank you for sticking around. If you are still here, thank you. Bye.